Paul Thomalla from ACI. I look after the relationships with the industry and try and look at what's going to happen in the future, try and influence it and bring it back to both ACI and ACI's customers so that we can be ready for that future. I think, there is a possibility that could happen, but I think it's really quite unlikely. Yes, fintechs will obviously enter the market and try and become TPPs and PISPs and ASPs and all those good things, but so will a bank. And then the bank has to decide what it's going to do to be able to provide the information that its customers are seeking. What's the data spin-off? How do they work with that data? And I suspect very strongly that banks who get the networking and the scale and the NFRs, as ACI talks about them, the non-functional requirements, are going to be absolutely critical. And banks are all over that like a rash. So scalability, availability, all those things. TPPs, that's work in progress for them. Banks have been doing it for a long time. So I think they're well placed, and they could obviously choose not to do everything that they could, but I think they will. I think so. But I think that's a general statement, whether it's to do with with this set of regulations or not. I think the banks are in a time now where they have a reasonable amount of technical debt, and they have to get beyond that and start to work out what is their future, how are they going to service their customers, and that is just given impetus by immediate payments and by PSD2. So I think that generally is what the banks need to do. These are just two instances of it. Look, I think that Africa is quite a complex story, and I think the issue that we have, as a society, is that there are a lot of unbanked in Africa. The payments piece is only an adjunct to service these guys, and I think there is a lot of issues, not just around payments, but it's around how they understand who each other are, identity, and how they can service themselves. But if we look at it from a commercial-only point of view, it's quite a tough story because a lot of these countries have got such a large amount of unbanked, relatively small amount of cash. So this is as much a social question as it is a fiscal payments question. And I think it's a genuine one where the two are mixed. And I think it's appropriate that we do the best for Africa and the various countries within Africa, because they've all got different needs. But simplistically put, they've got a lot of people that are unbanked that could well do with both identity and with payments. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think the question is a complicated question where you phrased it, but I think, is cash going to go away? Eventually, but it's a long way off. And there'll be a lot of moves to concentrate around those people who do want to use cash. Whether it's cards that people use to get the cash with is a completely separate question. And I think that actually we'll see less and less dependency on cards and more on immediate payments or software devices to be able to get access to your services, including cash, through the ATMs. So I think that's a ways away. I think the way we need to think about cards is they're just a device to give your identity to somebody else. And whether that's the mag stripe or it's on the chip or whatever it is, all you're really trying to do is to say, hey, I'm Paul, and link me up with my bank account. So a card in itself is only a device to do that. But that could then be on a phone, it could be on a brooch, it could be on many different types of software device or hardware device to say, I really am Paul, let me get access to my cash. So a card is just a proxy, and I think we'll see more and more of that, rather than, I must have my particular network branded card. So I think immediate payments will say, well, hold on a second, what if I put my IBAN on my card with my loyalty, with my retailer, that's a different way of looking at things. And I think that's the way a lot of the retailers will, through loyalty. And if they choose to use wallets or, mobile devices, I suspect that's going to be a strong way forward.